I'm a derpfish. In a moment here, you're going to learn how to make me. Stay tuned. Alright, this is Dr. Von Man, and I'm going to show you today how to make a derpfish puppet. It was going to be a shark, but you saw yourself. He's derpy looking. So, what you're going to need, giant popsicle stick, blue craft foam. I've got some odds and ends we're going to be using. Some white craft foam for the teeth, red for the tongue, and a couple of googly eyes. Like these right here. So we're going to go ahead and get these out, and we'll start this thing up. You also may need a pair of scissors. Well, you probably definitely need a pair of scissors. Some super glue possibly, and some hot glue. The reason I say possibly is it depends on how well this thing holds up. Now, the first thing you're going to do, I'm going to move this over where you can see what I'm doing here. Alright. You're going to take your popsicle stick, line it up along here. You're wanting to cut it a little bit off because you're going to be trying to, let me get it where I can cut this thing because it's a bit awkward. What you're going to do is you're going to come up here and let's cut this thing down here like so. Kind of get it within size. Now we're going to move this over here because you want to have a little extra, you see. I learned this the hard way making this thing, because if you don't, your seams are going to be in the way, and you can trim the seams down, but you can't put them back on. So it's better to have a feast than a famine. So you see, at this point, here you are. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to cut our popsicle stick down. Try to line it up. It don't have to be perfect, but you do kind of want close to perfect. If you have one slightly longer, make that the upper part of the mouth. Believe me, you'll not regret that a bit. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to turn the camera back down here so you can see what I'm doing on the table, because this is where the table comes in again. Now, what you're going to want to do is glue this into place here. And kind of in like this. Now you're going to want to probably shear off. I'm going to shear off a little more of this side, and I'll show you why. So if you don't have it cut, if you got it cut too close, this thing's not going, the mouth's not going to close properly. You're kind of wanting to make sure you've got some clearance to be able to close this mouth up like that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to glue this into place. Kind of give it 3 quick lines here, and then try to see if you can shear off as much of that glue as you can so you don't have stringers. Now we're going to do that. That's glued into place. Now we're going to do the same thing over here. 3 quick stringers, three quick streams here, maybe 4, and we're going to glue our other piece in. You want to make sure that this doesn't clear off this. So right there you are. That's going to be your basic shape. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to come up along here and going to cut this nice and even. It may end up being a little bit jagged, but that's going to be okay. See, now you're going to kind of want to leave a little bit of leeway, because you're going to have to glue another piece up here on top of the finger slots and what all. Now, you notice I didn't put the fin on it just yet. The original, I glued the fin in underneath it, and it was causing some problems. So we're going to try something a little different this time. So what you're going to do now is kind of measure off your finger's length, in this case right here. So you're going to want to cut just a little bit more than a finger's width here. And, oh, about lost my camera. Sorry about that, folks. But we caught it. No harm, no bother. Alright, you're going to want to cut that down just a piece. Now, going to cut this down just a piece. Ultimately what you're wanting here is kind of round this up here on this end. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like I said, we're making a derpfish. And actually I've made this a little shorter than it needed to be. I don't know why I did that. Oh well, we'll cut it a little longer than we need it to be. We can use that on another project. Alrighty. So what we're going to do is you need to cut it down about halfway. Sorry, I'm a little bit under the weather today, so you have to bear with me, hopefully. I'm not exactly cognizant at this morning. I'm a little bit sick. Alright, now then, you've got this cut. You want to fold this heavily and kind of even this up. So, what you're going to do is you're going to come up here and you're going to cut this down here and this down there. So now you've got something akin to an even kill here. Well, not quite. We're going to have to cut the shear off a little bit more right in here. Now, see, now that's going to form the top of your fish. So, what you're going to do now, and we'll go ahead and use the super glue on this one, I suspect. Because, like I said, I had some issues with the craft glue or the hot glue the other day. So what we're going to do is we're going to come along here with the super glue. And we're going to press this into place here. And kind of trying to make sure you don't glue your fingers together. Believe it or not, I've seen people who have actually done this. You also might want to work in a ventilated room. So, let's see if this will hold. It's supposed to wait a couple of minutes or a few seconds here. And we'll see if that sticks. And it's not going to. As you can see, super glue for some reason does not like craft foam. Who would have thought? So what we're going to do, we're going to see if we can get this thing here, the hot glue itself, to hold. And here's your problem. The hot glue itself wants to kind of rope off like this here. Oh, that was hot. Now, so what we're going to do is we're going to glue that into place here and kind of see if we can get that to line up nicely, because you got to have room for your finger. And I'm suspecting I may not have enough room for my finger. This glue is this is a little tricky because the glue is very, very sticky. And it will make a mess of things. So what we're going to do is we're going to glue this right here, and then we're going to push this in here. And hopefully have enough room for my finger. If I can keep my fingers from getting in this hot glue. See, we got to make sure we have enough room for the finger. It's kind of a hit and miss process. Like I said, I am still learning this craft, but I can show you what I'm learning as I'm learning it. Now, I've got friends of mine who are actually much better at this than I am. I know people who are much better at this sort of thing than me. But let's see if we can fit this thing in there. Yes, we can. Alright. Now, we're going to cut the lower half now. And what we're going to do there is we're going to cut it. It don't have to be quite as long. Matter of fact, we can use that piece that I cut a minute ago for this. We're going to glue it in. Not going to glue it along the edge because that therein be monsters. I'm going to glue it in here because I want a little more thumb room. So maybe if I keep it from bending up here, we can fit this into place here. If I can keep my fingers out of the glue. As you can see, it's sticky. This is where it gets real tricky right here. Alright, now hold it there a minute and let the glue fuse with this, and hopefully not go slinging off to the side like that. Now we've got a little more purchase on the thumb this time than I had on the original. So I'm going to see. Kind of hold it like that and let it do its thing. I may end up having to. Oh, that'll work, but it's still kind of. See how it's kind of pulling off right here? That's where I was hoping the super glue would do the job. You may end up having to use something like Gorilla Glue or whatnot. Like I said, this is a learning curve for me too. I've got a basic idea, but now pull all these spider webs off of it, and let's see how she works. Oh yeah, good purchase. It's not going to come loose. Just make sure that this stays in place. Now we're going to pop open this guy here and glue his tongue into place. Now right there you can see there is another hazard. It did not glue good right there. So we'll kind of put that in place and let that secure. Meantime, let's cut our tongue out. This is a derpfish, so he's going to have a really silly tongue. And hopefully, because I'm going to continue to try to experiment with some puppetry, hopefully my designs and cleaning this up will be a lot better. If you're, you know, God bless you if you're actually neater with this glue gun than I am, because I get a lot of stringers everywhere. I'm by no means a professional puppeteer by any stretch. But, you know, I'll do what I can. Now, I'm going to go ahead and glue his eyes up here on the top now. This is going to be a particularly derpy derpfish, I suspect. Because he's going to be a real goofy looking fish. There you go. It's going to be... I'm even derpier than the last one! Now, let's go ahead and get this done. We're going to make him a fin now. Now, for the fin, what you want to do is just kind of basically cut yourself a little triangle and then kind of sharpen it just a hair's breadth. Like that. Now, we're going to glue his fin right up here. Like I said, ostensibly this was supposed to be a shark, but as you saw, he's particularly derpy looking. The alligator looked a lot cooler, but that's my personal opinion. So what we're going to do now is let's go ahead and cut his fins out now. Like that, sort of. And those we're going to glue right in here under his chin. His fins are going to be a little bit forward this time because he's going to be a really kind of a goofy looking fish. You're really kind of wanting a really goofy looking fish. So let's open his goofy looking mouth here and let's put some teeth in there. Now, again, we're going to have to focus the camera back on me so I can cut the teeth out. What we're going to do is we're going to come up here. I'll cut out some choppers here for him. Oh, and I lost my teeth. Alright, now I'll have to reach down here and grab these. The teeth, basically the rough cut for the teeth fell out of my hand here. Alright, now, as with the gator, he's kind of, you can make him a little more triangular because he is a shark after all. Try not to cut it all the way through because that could be problematic in its own right. If you had a pair of pinking shears, this would be going a lot smoother, but we're gonna go with this. Oh, that would cut out nicely there, didn't it? Now, again, like I said, don't judge me too harshly right now. I am just learning this craft. So, I'm just now learning this. So, expect to kiss a few frogs before we figure out what we're doing here. Oh, did not mean to put that in Frankie's hair. Okay, now. Kind of even this up. Get rid of the spittle around his jaw. See, now you've got his lower jaw in place. Now, we're going to do the same thing top side. On the top plate of his jaws. Sharks are interesting creatures because of the fact that they have rows of these triangular double-edged serrated teeth. And they've been around for a long time. The derpfish, on the other hand, is an invention purely the other day. I said I was attempting to make a shark puppet, and he just came off looking so goofy. And this one here, I think, is going to be about as goofy looking. So, let's see if we can let's see if we can get this jaw put into place and hopefully hold this thing together. All right, now we got the jaw cut, the lower jaw's cut out. Let's go ahead and put his teeth in. I said I've got him a little bit off center, but that's, like I said, trying to get this thing in place is a little bit tricky. I probably cut a little more than I meant to on that one side. Now, let's go ahead and line up his teeth here. Oh, did not mean for it to do that. There we go. Pulling them around to make them even here. Now, if you absolutely want to have it even across here, what I would do is come along here and just kind of trim this down if you can. I'm going to try to even it up just a hair, because I did not mean for it to be quite so offset there. Now, so it's not perfect, but we're going to try to see if we can get some of this trimmed down here and hopefully not knock him off from together. Now, you could, if you wanted to, put another plate across the bottom, and I think I'm fixing to do just that. I'm going to cut another piece right here. Just kind of trim that, and that's basically going to cover up your seam for your fin on the bottom down here, see? Kind of give him a little bit of a, you could also make that in white if you wanted to. Yeah, I'm using Dollar Tree glue, which doesn't really hold together as well as some. Works well for my catapult projects, but doesn't really work well with fabric or anything like that. It does kind of want to come discombobulated at that point. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pull these things off here, and let's test him. There you are. It's not perfect by any stretch. I got to do a little bit more refining here. But considering this is my second attempt at puppetry, I'd say I'm not doing overall too badly at all. Now, go ahead and let that seal for a minute. I probably should have split that right here. But you kind of get the idea. Now let's see how it works. It was probably a good idea. This was actually in some ways a good thing, because I've made more room on the bottom side for the thing. Now if I could just get this glue to stop stringing up, this would be nice. But, well, like I said, this is a work in progress. I'm learning this as I'm teaching you. Remember how I did with the gliders. Eventually we got some decent gliders out of this, so there we go. If you like these videos, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell, and share. And until the next video, we'll see you on the flip side. Bye-bye.